Welcome to Photography Editorial. What's up everybody, Steven Tillman here. I hope you're all feeling well and staying safe out there in this weird time. So today we're going to be doing another real estate photography tutorial. It is going to be the Flambient technique. In today's tutorial, I don't know if you can hear. That's my dog snoring. Hold on, I'll let you hear this. She may wake up. I have a big Rottweiler and she's snoring. So it is what it is. So today we're gonna be tackling brown walls and ceilings. In the newer houses, this is not something that you have an issue with, but in some of the older, particularly built in the 70s or 80s, this particular home is a log cabin. You're gonna have to be able to do any property that the agent gives you. So let's practice together on the hard ones. Some of these tutorials are gonna be easy and you're like, oh, that's a no-brainer, but some are gonna be more difficult, and I want to help you be able to troubleshoot, so then when you have a rough property like this one, you can knock it out of the park like that and stand out above the rest. So let's dive into the computer. All right, so we have I took my ambient, took my flash, you see all the orange and stuff, it looks nasty. That's because there was no white ceiling, and so I flashed. What I could have did, and actually tried to do, but it was such a small place, it was hard to cram put a light on a stand, raise it up, and then put a reflector, a white reflector, and then bounce it like it would be a white ceiling to bounce back in. So I just bounced it off the wood and cranked my power up. Now, you will have issues if you have a small little speed light doing a property like this. I'll leave a link in the description of several options. Explorer 600, I think there's also Explorer 400. And these are all great options. They are smaller lights, but they have a lot of power to them. Because if you have a little speed light, you will not be able to do one flash and pop off an entire room like this with all the brown wood. Because when you have darker colors, whether it's on the floor, like this has on the floor, right here, it has on the ceiling, all around here, it's all and this isn't even that dark of wood, all absorbs the light instead of reflects it. So it causes a serious issue. One reason I didn't go through all the trouble of putting my light on a stand and a reflector over the top like I explained a minute ago is because I saw this white door right here, this frame, and I knew that in Lightroom I could fix it. Because if you're trying, like this property right here is about 45 minutes away from where I live. So I'm not trying to go an hour away from home to spend 3 hours at a property. You gotta get in and get out. And agents will also appreciate that, especially if they have somebody living there. Now watch over here in this little screen, little preview I have right there. Now that looks like a pretty natural color, which then kind of makes that look like a natural color as well. All right, so what am I looking for here in this one? What I want to do is I'm looking at the floor right here. And in this, before I bring it into Photoshop, I want to get that blue out. Ambient and my flash. So I've adjusted the flash. It looks pretty good. Do a drop right there. Just see if we can get it. I want it to get it as close as possible to that flash. Now let's bring up the exposure. A little bit too orange, which will happen when you have a lot of browns. You'll end up getting a lot of oranges. So let's knock that. See how that, just taking the little orange saturation out? Look how much better it looks in comparison. It's a little yellow. I'm just looking at the hot spots because I'm gonna end up painting some of that in. See how it makes it fade it? I don't want it too dark. I want it to still have a little color. All right. So let's do. Bump on that one. Let's bring up the shadows. What I'm trying to do is make it as flat as possible, because that being flat is going to then get depth when we bring it into Photoshop and paint in the layers on top of each other. And that will make sense in just a minute. All right, then we're gonna go to the window pool. So what I'm looking for here, my main thing that I wanted when I did the window pool was I was trying to expose good for this window, and for this window. I want to keep that in mind for when I bring it to Photoshop. Let's see, bring the highlights down just a little bit. Outside, it was a cloudy day. Realtors usually don't care about the sky being different. Now you can go and cut out that whole entire thing and put a brand new sky out there, but there's no sun. It was a cloudy day. This having a pretty sky up here will not match what the windows look like down here, so that's going a little too extreme. Now when I shot this, I shot it at such an angle. I shot it kind of over here, bottom right, kind of over the top of the camera, this angle. Now the reason I shot it that way is because up here I knew that my flash was gonna cast a shadow, and I was trying to make it as painless as possible. So I'm trying to light up this entire thing without shadow so that I can paint in, because if it casts a shadow over the top of the light, it will end up giving me trouble when I edit in Photoshop. So this brown might give me a lot of trouble in Photoshop by doing the darken mode that I've showed you in my other videos that I'll show right here. So I'll show you how I'm gonna work with that if it gives me trouble in just a minute, but we'll see. I haven't done these photos. Every time I do a video, this is the first time that I ever do these. So we'll just do it together, because if I'm having trouble with it, as I'm doing it for the first time, I know you will too. I wanna be able to help you as much as I can. All right, so this one right here, we have this and this one. Remember for this one, the windows I wanted, this one, and this one. The ones that are shining bright all around and up here. And for this one, I knew that I couldn't have my light to span all the way. See how it gets real dark and feathers off? I want that crisp, clear light all the way around the window and door. Just like that is. That one's gonna paint in good. And then, as always, always have a safety shot. Always do a safety shot. After you do your window pull, turn your flash off and do one more shot at the same exposure. Don't touch the camera, just do one more shot. And then I wanna make sure that it's the same exposure. It looks like it's a little bit darker. And bring down highlights, bring up some shadows, shift, click. Right click, go up to edit in, open as layers in Photoshop. Now as it's opening, in the description below, you can find what I use right here that makes my life 1,000 times easier, whether you're doing real estate or whether you're doing skin retouching, whatever your task is that you need to be able to draw, this makes it so much easier. It has a little pen with soft keys on it. You can push it. There's all different types of options, different levels. I got one that was this big. I think this might be a large, maybe a medium. I wish I would have got a small. It was kind of overkill, but I didn't know what I was buying, so I'm helping you. You can get a smaller one. It does the exact same thing, the entire width of your screen. In the description below, you can click the link. It says free 30-day Photoshop trial. You can try Photoshop and Lightroom out for free, and then after 30 days, it's like $11, $12 a month for both programs. And if you do like me, if you want to create videos as well, you can have all the Adobe apps for just $30 a month. You can still try them out all for 30 days free, and that's what I did. Also, if you like my shirt, I have an Etsy store. It's another way to support the channel. I'll have a link in the description. Check out my stuff. It's a Christian apparel. Back to photography. All right, so I wanna shift and click on all layers. I wanna go up here to edit, auto align layers, and it will align them. So we know this is our ambient. Option or Alt, layer mask, cover it up. So now, let us begin. All right, if you do not have it already, push B, push the brackets, it'll make the brush bigger. So we wanna make sure that white is the brush color, because that will be white on black and that will reveal. The black layer mask means hide, white will reveal it. It's like erasing it away. It's not an eraser, it's a brush though. Ooh. I don't wanna do it too much. Not a whole lot of shine. We just wanna let that natural light come in a little bit. Make sure to take away all the flash where it doesn't look flashy. Okay, so we've got some flash looking on here. You see how the light changes. So really right there, that's not a bad photo. This is before, this is after. Just made it look kind of natural. Window pulls, grab them, pull them all the way up on top. I always make those where I can't see them. That way I don't get confused of what I'm seeing. Put a layer mask. You want to do darken mode. Make sure you're on your layer mask. It's actually not working too bad. All right, now even if you want to come down, you can kind of make that shine go away just a little bit. Go to the next window. Go to the next window. Knock a little bit of that shine off. Just a little bit. I'm just dabbing it. You want the shine there because it's a natural thing that happens. So you don't want to take it completely away. Just make sure you color that in all the way around the edges there. And remember, on your window pools, put it to darken mode. Let's do a layer mask, Alt Option, and then go to darken mode. Well, we do this one over here too. Let's see how it works. Ooh, that looks good. It works so much better with that white. Just so much easier. All right, then I click on this up here. I forgot about the window up here. Let's see how that looks. It's gonna be a cloudy day, so it's not a big issue. All right, so before and after, before and after. In Lightroom, I didn't darken this enough to where I'm bringing out all the detail. I left some of it in there. Like up where the sky is right here, I can see that in this one, I can see a little more detail. So how do I do that without having to paint all of this in? I'm glad you asked. Go down here, it says create new fill or adjustment. Let's do levels. All right, so you see the levels. This controls the lights, this is the midtones, and this is the dark. Now, look directly at the window. See, it's a little more detail where I can kind of see more out there. Okay, I like that. Now you're like, well, that just adjusted the entire photo. Why would I do that? Right click out to the side, go up here and create a clipping mask. Now you see this little arrow that popped up right here? What that clipping mask means is that the immediate layer below the layer that I just made, the adjustment layer, is the only one affected. Watch, look at the windows in that layer. That is the only one that is affected. And if I want to readjust it, say it's not as dark as I want, double click on that. Look at there, look at there. And because I have that layer mask, it means directly right below it. So only this one. Look at that. I think that looks better. You can see better out there, it's not as foggy. Now you're like, okay, well what if I want to darken this layer up? Like I did that one, if I think this is too bright. Maybe that window right there is a little too bright and this is good, but this one looks brighter. I'm glad you asked. So while you are clicked on this layer, do the same thing, levels. Now, we're only looking at what we want to affect. See, that made it darker? You can actually see a little better out there. You can see the detail in the tree a whole lot better. Now watch. See how it's in between these now? Because I clicked, whatever layer you're clicked on, when you put another adjustment layer in there, it'll automatically put it right above it. So go on the layer that I created, right click, create clipping mask, and it goes only to the one immediately below it. So if we click this, we can see, look at that. I think that looks better. It almost looks like it's sunny outside. And actually, I think this one could probably be a little darker to match. So now look at that. You know my rules in vertical lines being straight up and down. The reason I did the camera like this and tilted it back is because I wanted to show that the ceiling was vaulted, the beams going across. It was a very important piece of this home with the vaulted ceilings and the beams and stuff. So I let it slide on occasion when I need to. Another option would have been turn the camera up and down like this, kind of tilt it sideways, but then you lose a lot of the width of the room. So I just do it like this and kind of do back, and I've never, ever had an agent complain about it because they like that you can see that detail that most people will forget to include. So now we flatten the image. It's okay to discard hidden layers. I don't want to use them. And this is what I love about Photoshop and Lightroom. Command, save, it immediately brings it back. So what I've done here is my preset, I named it Real Estate Ceilings. The reason I did that is because I don't want it to do the correction of the lines, but it would lose a lot of the ceiling, and I don't want to lose a lot of the ceiling. So I have the same adjustments that I have on my other edit when I bring it back into Lightroom. See, all the little stuff jumped. But I don't have the profile correction thing on it. Sometimes you may have to go back in here and redo the white balance, but that's okay. I mean, if you were there in this room, That's what the wood looks like, and that's what you want. You want it to look the way that it looks when you're there. And so you gotta keep that in mind too when you're editing, because you don't want it to look different and somebody go in there and be like, this isn't the color that the photo was, because that's what they're gonna reference in their mind. When they walk onto a property, they're gonna say, well, this doesn't look anything like the pictures. And guess whose fault that is? The person who took the pictures. Even bring that up just a little bit. See, there's no blue. It's a shine, but there's no blue from the outside. And if you don't know, when it's overcast, shining through the clouds, it looks like blue. So this is your finished product. You have a good deliverable product. There is natural color in the woods. You have the ceiling where you are showing all the detail and how high it goes and the beams. And you're showing that there are fans in there and lights, because that's very important to people looking for homes. An agent will be ecstatic over this image right here. Again, thanks for watching. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. Click the little bell notification so you can see every time I put out new videos. And thanks for watching. Have a good week and stay healthy.